Hi there, welcome to my kitchen. I'm gonna go over my Azure haul with you and what I ordered this month. I picked up this order last night and I took the refrigerator items out of the boxes. These boxes are not necessarily what I ordered, but this is typical for how Azure will pack up your orders. So for instance, I don't know what this is. Oh, it's sausage. I did not order sausage, but in this box, they put yellow tortillas. So they just recycle their boxes and then they tape them up. And so I thought I would unpack them with you so you can see. And I just wanted to go over what I got because I love watching what other people get from Azure. It gives me great ideas. How Azure works is you find a drop-off in your area. I think you become a member of that drop-off. You put in an order once a month. They give you a cutoff time as to when you need to finalize your order, and then they'll send you an email that tells you what day and time that week that they're going to deliver on the big freight truck to your drop-off. What else about Azure before I fully get into it? I will leave a link to Azure. It's a free membership, and then you just find a drop-off in your area. But there's a lot of info about their company online. I like them a lot. You order groceries, you can get bulk items. I got a 50-pound bag of organic flour. Azure also has their own brand of organic wheat, which I really like a lot. But then I've also used the Central Milling Company flour as well, and I like their flour a lot too. You don't have to get everything in bulk. They have individual items too. So I ended up ordering, let's see, I think I got 3, these are corn tortillas. I got 3 yellow corn and 3 white corn. I've heard that if you get 3, at least 3, then you get a better discount on it. And it'll show you on each item how much per pound the item is. I can't remember how much this one was per pound, but there's a little drop down that will show you if you buy a single one, how much it is, the total price, plus it'll break it down per pound, what you're buying. And then they've got options for more bulk, or you can buy multiples of a single item as well. So I hope that makes sense. But I haven't tried these before, and I did see some reviews that said that the yellow corn holds up a little bit better than the white corn. But these are both organic corn tortillas. We eat a lot of tacos in this house, so I'm excited to try these out. There's that. Those will go out to the freezer. And then in this box, let's see, okay. So this is an example of bulk. And I think in this box too, I've got, I'll just ahead. This is 1 pound of whole rosemary leaves. And let's see. This is 4 ounces of oregano leaf. So I had the opportunity to buy a smaller package of the rosemary, and you can buy larger packages of it as well. This is just an example of bulk buying. You can see the sides. This is 4 ounces of organic ground black pepper, and this is also 4 ounces of the oregano. These are their 4-ounce packages. I have some big plans with the rosemary. I saw a recipe online for a herbal infused vinegar hair rinse. I've been trying to really switch over all of my products to a more natural route. I had no idea that this rosemary was going to be this size. It's really hard to gauge it when you're on the little drop down menu of what size, what quantity do you want when you're ordering through Azure. So I have bought a pound of, I think it was raspberry leaf, and it comes in a great big plastic bag, and it's, you know, this big and this big around. Of course, too, it's the product that's inside of the package that's gonna make the packaging size different, but you just don't really know how much is gonna be the first time that you order it. I knew that this ground black pepper was going to be this size because I've ordered this before. Oregano, lots of Italian cooking in this house too. I have a little bit of fresh oregano in my garden, but not enough for as much as we use it. So there's those. Here is another thing that I'm excited about. I got 2 pounds of just the Meyer lemons, and then I got 4 pounds of regular organic lemons. I have here 4 pounds of grapefruit. All the fruit is organic, and I'm also going to be making a, what is it called? I can't remember the name of it. Right on the tip of my tongue. Quinine. I think that's what it's called. Quinine? Quinine? No, quinine. I think it's quinine. I can't remember, but it's supposed to be really, really good for when you're sick. And so what you do is you chop off the rinds of your grapefruits and lemons, and I think that, and then you put just the rinds in a certain amount of water, you know, in ratio to a certain amount of grapefruit and lemons, and you let that boil down for like 3 hours or something like that, and then you strain off the liquid, and that liquid apparently is liquid gold when it comes to being sick. So I thought that would be a great thing to make. I probably have the antibodies now because I did get sick over Christmas, so knock on wood, I probably won't be getting sick, but if anybody around me gets sick, or if I do get sick again, I'm excited to have this on hand. I also have elderberries from my garden that are in the freezer, and I'm excited to make some elderberry products of elderberry syrup and elderberry tinctures. Jeez. Ooh, that wasn't so hard. And maybe even some gummies, because I did get some gelatin a little while ago, and the intention of the gelatin was for the gummies. Maybe we'll do some of those too. All right, and in this box, I have a great big thing of organic avocado oil. I use this not only in my cooking, but I love making homemade ranch dressing, and that comes from my homemade mayo. And I have found that I use the most avocado oil in my mayo making. It takes about a cup of oil per batch that I make of mayo. So I find that I'm making that a lot. Anyways, I go through avocado oil pretty quickly in this house. So I always go for the gallon, cheaper price in the long run. And then I've got some white wine vinegar, organic as well, in the glass bottle, which is always great. They have organic olive oil, organic avocado oil in the glass bottles too, but it's a smaller, anything glass for them it's a smaller quantity. So in the gallon, it seems like it's always in the plastic container. And then this I've never tried from Azure. This one is new for me. It is their brand, and it is organic white wine vinegar. I also put this in like just a little blip, 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 splash in when I'm making mayo. It's like my vinegar base. Sometimes people will put lemon juice in there. I like to put a little blip of white wine vinegar. So there's that. And then they do send out these monthly sales flyers. So these are kind of cool too, because there's always stuff in here that I'm like, oh, I didn't know that they had that. Of course they would, because they're a like an online grocery store. So, you know, they have like the majority of like what you're going to buy in the grocery store, they have it. The only downfall that I have found with Azure is they only drop off once a month, and I cannot tell you how many times I have missed my cutoff to put in the order. You know, this is my fault, but I can't tell you how many times I've missed that cutoff to put in my order, and then I have to wait the following month for the next cutoff to put in an order if I forget it, and then therefore I'm going back to the grocery stores around here. I try to keep the grocery stores that I go to around here pretty local too. I'm not really a big box store shopper. Going back to the magazine, just like right off the bat, they've got essential oils. I have ordered essential oils from them before. Let's see, I'll just browse through here for a second and see. They do have stuff for the pantry: jars, Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, which are good in the Mylar bags, buckets and lids. I'm going to show you how I put some of this stuff away. Like with my flour, I have some 5-gallon buckets in my pump house, which is also my pantry and my potting shed. So it's fairly large shed outside. It has a heater inside of it, so my pantry in here is fine for just the inside, but because I do so much canning and preserving and bulk buying of herbs, or even bulk harvesting of herbs out of my garden, I have a whole other walk-in pantry pretty much out there too, which is great. But anyways, I'm going to show you how I put all that stuff together. I have bought their buckets and their lids maybe before. I do get the gamma lids, so they click on and then they've got the screw top. I have found with the 5-gallon buckets, they are, well, sometimes you can find them to where they're easy to peel off, but they can be super irritatingly hard to get those buckets open. So the gamma lids are awesome because they just screw on and screw off, and then that seal is so crazy tight around the rim of the bucket. So it keeps everything really, really fresh in there. They've got all different sizes of mason jars, from jelly jars to gallon-sized jars. I have bought them from Azure before. What else? Paper towels, candy. I have bought a ton of their chocolate chips. And they've got all different types of sweeteners in them, from coconut sugar to monk fruit, sugar cane. I think there's even, there's a maple, what is it, yacon? I always want to say bacon, like it almost looks like bacon, but obviously that's not it. But they've got all different types of sweeteners in their chocolate chips, kombuchas, sodas, tuna fillets in olive oil in glass jars. Oh, and they've got flavors to them too. Jalapeno in water or oil. Interesting. I've never heard of jalapenos in tuna before. I think they've got a whole line of baby food. I'm looking at these little, like, those little fruit squeezes. Vitamins. They've got coffee, they've got cleaners. This is more on like the natural organic side of things. So you can shop all of their stuff online. I will leave a link for it. And again, it is free to sign up. There's not a membership to it. You just need to find your own, in your area, you find your own drop off. And then again, you just kind of have to stay on top of making sure that you put your order in on time so that you can get the next shipment. They have a YouTube channel as well, and I really like listening to, I believe it's the owner who gets on there, and he gives a lot of really great information too. He just talked about wheats before. I've heard him talking about seed oils, which is really interesting to get his take on it. That's real, controversial in today's world. I can't tell you how many times I've jumped from this oil to this oil to this oil to this oil because somebody says, oh, this one's bad, don't cook with this, you can't drink this, it's bad. Like, you hear me? I know lots of people are in the same boat in that one. this is way too small to read right now, but they put their sale guide on these pages. I don't know if it's quite in the back. It looks like it's pretty much like right in the middle of the flyer. As much as I like watching the videos of what other people post of what they're buying from Azure, the flyer is really great too, because it puts even more on the forefront to let you know what they have. They remind me of I always call them like the little hippie stores. You know, those natural grocers you walk in and there's just a specific smell. It smells like real natural and, you know, that hippie smell. I can say that because I feel like I've got the hippie inside of me a lot. I love that smell. It smells like real earthy and natural. They remind me of an online version of your local health food store. I'm not going to go through the whole magazine. They do have fresh fruits and veggies, whatever's going on seasonal at that time. I said coffees, but they also have like alternative like mushroom coffees and things like that. I have gotten them before. They have a lot of animal feed too, so I haven't ever bought it from them, but I see a lot of people buy their chicken feed. I've looked online to see what kind of stuff they have. They have a lot of minerals and things for livestock and farm animals. In the spring, they ship out vegetable starts as well, live ones. I guess I did go through the whole magazine. So that's the flyer. I talked about how I got a 50-pound bag of flour. I'm going to put probably half of it into a 5-gallon bucket in the pantry, and then the other half I will stick in the freezer. I left this bag of flour in my car last night. It's been really cold here lately, so it kind of acted as being in a freezer. The point of that, from what I hear, is if there's any bugs living in your flour, or just, you know, it's a wheat, so it can happen, and I guess they can get into your flour bags as well. So the idea is you put it in your freezer and it's supposed to kill off anything that could be living in your flour. So kind of interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen any bugs in my flour before, but ever since I heard that, I'm like, ew, I should probably just do it just in case there ever is any bugs in my flour. Okay, so for the refrigerated items, I got a 32-ounce container of A2 organic whole milk yogurt. This is the Bellwether Farms. They also, I've seen this at Costco before too, in the same size. I think it's actually a 2-pack. But when I got it from Costco, it was plain. So this is vanilla. And before I get into this, I just wanted to try out the flavors, and they have the individual packaging of the strawberry. Yeah, those are both strawberry. Blackberry. And, oh, I guess I got, okay, so I got vanilla, strawberry, and blackberry of the same Bellwether A2 organic yogurt. 2 containers, 2 16-ounce containers of the Nancy's probiotics sour cream. I have not tried this, but I've heard everybody raves about it. Plus, there was a lady that I was watching, and she was saying that she struggles with eating dairy, and she has an easier time digesting this probiotic sour cream. Specifically, the Nancy's brand is what she was talking about. I sometimes wonder if in this household we've got a little bit of a dairy intolerance, but it seems like for the most part when we consume either the raw, well, pretty much the raw dairy, it seems like when we've got the raw or the A2 milk base, it's seems that we're okay. So I think there's definitely something there to it. And I think a lot of us are in that boat, if not completely dairy intolerance these days. Anyways, I also got the probiotic Nancy's cream cheese as well. Then this I find is the best deal. We go through a lot of cheese. This is I think that means 5.1. They wrote it on there. 5 pounds of raw milk, white cheddar, grass-fed cheese. This is the Sierra Nevada brand. I've also, the last time we got it, it was the Origin, and they're a little bit different. I've gotten both, and I like both of them. If I remember right, this one's a little bit more mild, and the Origin is a little saltier, more like more buttery, I don't know. And I like the saltiness, but I wanted to try this one again so I could really see what the difference is between the flavors. So I have bought both of them. We buy the 5-pound block, and then I'm gonna go through and chop it up into 5 pieces so I have a pound at a time, and then I'm going to vacuum seal each individual pound chunk that I cut up. And then the same thing goes for, I haven't bought the pepper jack before. I hope we like this one because there's almost 5.5 pounds, 5.41 pounds of this is the grazier, I'm not sure exactly, grazier, I guess it would be grazier. It's got cows grazing on the front, of the Sierra Nevada brand, raw jalapeno jack. And I will do the same thing with this. So I'll chop this up into 5 pieces, and I know I've got about a pound per packaging. And I put the cheese after I have vacuum sealed them into the freezer. So I think that's it.
As you can see, I forgot to mention that I also got a rosemary tallow shampoo bar and some lemon verbena dish soap.
Okay, so I'm going to take some of my items out to the freezer and then get my vacuum sealer. And I think I'm gonna leave one of these cream cheeses inside. I have a big thing of sour cream that I got from Costco. So I'm going to take the sour cream and the cream cheese out there.
Side note, I did not like how the sour cream thawed out. I do not recommend it.
Oh, I gotta take these tortillas. I'm gonna keep these in the freezer too. I'm gonna go get my vacuum sealer and show you how I chop these up and how we store the cheese. I've got tortillas, cream cheese, and sour cream going out to the freezer. Okay, so I'm just gonna eyeball cutting this into fifths since it's 5 pounds, so I have a pound per package. Yeah, that's good. This would be about half. I'm just gonna score it a smidge. thinking if I do here, let's see. Okay, so we'll keep one inside. And then what do I have? Cut that down. See, we've got our 5 blocks here approximately. They're probably a little bit each over a pound because it was closer to 6 pounds. So I will get these 4 vacuum sealed up, and then I'm going to do the same thing with this block of cheese. I'll leave a chunk of it inside the house, and the rest of it I will vacuum seal up as well. Okay, so we've got these pre-cut quart bags. It's pretty obvious that cheese is going in here, but you can also label them. I usually put the date on where I label them just so you know how long they've been in there. This cheese doesn't last us very long, so it kind of doesn't matter in my house. It's definitely easier to label them before you put whatever you're putting into these bags into them. Dry food, normal, okay. Little sensor's kind of off in this one sometimes. Oh. And then this block of cheese that I'm gonna keep in the fridge, I'm just gonna put it in a glass Tupperware. It'll go live in the fridge.
You catch the drift on this. I'm going to repeat the same process for this other block of cheese. And just like that, we've got 4 1-pound blocks of pepper jack cheese, and we also have an additional 4 1-pound blocks of white cheddar cheese, along with the 2 1-pound blocks of each of those that I'm going to keep in the refrigerator. Right now I'm just putting the dates on these blocks of cheese, and the blocks that are in the freezer bags, those will all be stored in the freezer.
So for my herbs, inside of the house, I store my herbs that I use the most next to my stove in these WECK jars. Do they have the size on here? I'll have to look them up. They have larger size WECK jars, they have smaller size WECK jars, and I can link these. I'm pretty sure I just got these off of Amazon. They're not cheap, but they're all glass, and then they have a glass lid. These are actually canning jars, but I think they're so pretty that I use them for storage jars. I have some tall, just perfectly round cylinder type WECK jars that I put, I think I usually put like quinoa in them, like small grains, and these ones have worked really great for herbs that I want to have in the house. I also got these labels with this label book. I will also link this, but they're super simple, black and white for all of your herbs. And I mean, it has all kinds of pantry items. So it's got these small labels for like smaller, I think I actually have some here. So like this size, I think it's like not 4 ounces. It would be, I'm not sure what size it is, but you know, like your spices that you get off the shelf in the grocery store, I always hang on to these if they've got black lids so that they all match, and then I put these little labels on them. And then for, let's see, those are the little labels too, but they also come with larger sizes. So like for instance, the coconut sugar would go into a larger container, so it's got a larger sticker. I love labels. It just makes everything look super organized, so I wanted to share that with you. Back to what I was getting at. So I store my herbs that I use the majority of the time. So we're gonna fill up the rosemary and the oregano. I'll actually start with the oregano. These herbs do come in like the resealable Ziploc on it. Okay, here we go. And it wouldn't hurt to use a funnel just in case. That way if I spill, hopefully don't make a mess. Ooh, it's strong. Reseal that, and then this package will go out into my pantry. That's a whole project in itself. I have tons of bulk herbs out there. I would prefer to dump them out of these bags and then into a larger size mason jar. So that is a whole organizing project that I'm really looking forward to. We'll do that later. And I was also thinking, I'm not gonna take you along to dump out the flour just yet, because I need to do a little bit of organizing in my pantry area before I bring anybody in there. I don't mind bringing you along to do the organizing with me, but in this round of putting pantry items away, I'm just gonna show you this stuff, but it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm just gonna dump the flour into a 5-gallon bucket with one of those gamma lids on it. It's not as fragrant as I thought it would. Okay, we'll dump this in. Okay, so that is how I store. I also have my garlic powder, onion powder, chili pepper, or chili powder, and cumin next to the stove. I can actually show it to you. It's a really cool system. When we were designing this kitchen, I've never had this before, but I'll show you over here. On either side of our stove, we have these pull-out drawers. I just wanted to share this if you're remodeling your kitchen. This has been awesome for all of our spices. So I've got, this is where I was saying I like to hang on to those glass spice jars with the black lids. Even though they're all a little bit different in terms of the style, they're all black and they match. And then when I put the little labels on there, it just makes everything look organized and uniform. And then down below is where I store the larger size WECK jar containers. And I just stack those. I unfortunately can't have a full row. I have like this weird space in between, but you could put taller mason jars in here, would work pretty well. But the spices that I use the most, they go here next to the oven, and all of my overflow or my excess goes out into my pantry into larger mason jars. I think I'm gonna leave all the produce inside the house right now so I can see it and it'll make me get to it. And then I like having a pump for my soaps. So my dish soap, I am going to just squeeze into the container. I do have a little funnel which would make this a lot easier, but I think I can manage without making a gigantic mess. That almost fits the entire bottle. No, you get down. Almost have it all fit in there. So I'll have a little extra. I hope that's not too full. Yeah, almost too full. I gotta pour a little bit back in. Got a little excited there. I thought I was gonna fit the whole thing in. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, it's got a really light smell to it. It's not like overwhelming. I love the smell of lemon verbena. I wouldn't have minded if it was a little stronger, but it's okay. Still works good. That's the point. A little pump back in. I like taking things out of their containers and putting them into like a more neutral bottle, like for this. And I was thinking about getting the labels for my soap dispensers, so like I could put dish soap on here, and then I'd like to get some shampoo bottles that are just plain. For instance, my shampoo bottles, they've been purple. I'd rather have this out on my counter than this, just because the labeling and all of that makes things more organized and enjoyable for me in particular. Well, I think that kind of wraps it up for now. That is my Azure haul. I will put the link to Azure's website where you can make your own account. Again, it's free, it doesn't cost you anything. I've got to say that I don't think the cost is any more. In fact, I think it's probably quite a bit less than your commercial grocery stores. So, and you're supporting a family-owned business, and I think that's really important, especially in today's world. I think that pretty much concludes for what I wanted to show you today. Just soon enough, maybe I'll take you into my pantry and show you how I store everything. I have a huge box of bulk herbs that I would like to get put into containers on the shelf, and the shelf needs to get put up. So I have a couple of pantry projects that I would like to share. So I hope that inspires you to come back, and I hope you give Azure a try. They've been really great for our family. I hope to see you next time, and I'll see you soon. Bye.